When you are heard, you are sharing responsibility and making a difference, turning challenges into inspiration, and ultimately providing the much needed support to make life happen on your own terms. To have a voice is to have some measure of power. Shaken, stirred, but not deterred. Inspiring stories of determination, commitment, and resilience is an apt title for this collaborative work of 20 chapters written by women worldwide. In these chapters, the author's life has been shaken, it has been stirred, but their choices have been to remain undeterred and move forward despite the obstacles put before them. These are their stories.
She was shaken, she was stirred, but she was not deterred. So she kept running to the finish line, turning her crisis into a catalyst for success. To crumble and retreat, or to conquer and rise, she thought, while finding the riches on the journey of life. She deeply misses her Ibu, but the loss led to her awakening, and she learned the art of saying no. Through learning and contributing, she found the new her, where she knew she had a choice to overcome barriers to transform, to rebuild from the ashes through self-love and power of resilience and reinvention. While walking on the path of a career pivot, she asked herself, what does life want from me? What does it mean to be lost? What has the pandemic done to us? And then she drew a line in the sand, and suddenly life's journey took her to an unexpected destination. These are their stories, shaken, stirred, but not deterred, by global influencers, available now on Amazon.
And with that, I want to thank and applaud each one of our authors for having the courage and determination to share their stories so someone, somewhere, can read about it and feel supported, loved, inspired, motivated, empowered, or simply comforted knowing they are not alone. My name is Neera Gupta, and together with Shikha Sharkar, we would like to welcome you all to the launch of Shaken, Stirred, but Not Deterred, inspiring stories of determination, commitment, and resilience by Global Influencers Publishing House. A company with the objective of connecting hearts and minds of international readers and authors through the power of words, and the belief that everyone has a story, and by writing it, you are creating a legacy. The event is brought to you by KitKat Events and Marketing, a company that has been in the forefront of empowering women through a series of events, forums, conferences, awards, even building an offline and online community with a focus on creating a safe space for like-minded women to come together, engage in, and discuss pressing issues related to women. To know more about our books, events, or to join our community, you can follow our social media pages. Details of that are being shared on the chat. After the success of 5 volumes of the My Voice bestseller book series and a whole host of solo books celebrating 100 plus women authors, inspiring thousands of women and men to transform their journeys from ordinary to extraordinary. That too in less than 1 year. We are now delighted to launch our next anthology of powerful stories with Shaken, Stirred, but Not Deterred. All our books are available on Amazon globally, and links to purchase them will be shared on the chat group. Please note that the funds raised through the sales of the co-authored books are being donated to Singapore Children's Society to support the future voices of this world. Once again, a huge congratulations to all of our amazing authors. We are very sure that this book will soon become an Amazon #1 bestseller too. And with that, please welcome the co-authors of the book and the stars of today as we hear more about their journey and their inspiration to share it with the world. For all of you who have joined to support the authors, please do give them a shout out using the chat feature, and also for the other authors that are present here today. So let's make it special for everyone over here. Change is a part of life, and you should always follow your heart because it is what you are, says Judith O'Callaghan, our author from Australia. Judith is a passionate, technology-focused senior business leader whose mission is to leave a legacy of effective decision-making and building functional and innovative teams that deliver industry-leading outcomes, which will make the world a better place. Please join me in welcoming Judith.
Hello, Dr. Nira, and hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity. So, as I think about what made me share my story, so it is about embracing whatever has happened, embracing the ashes, and giving the courage to talk about it as it will be useful for someone. In my case, it was an event that changed my life, an event where it made me stand back and look at what life is about and embrace the only choice that I had in front of me. So I took it, embraced it, and built life from the ashes that was left. And today I'm really proud of what has happened and how God has led us through the journey and the amazing outcomes that is achieved for me, my family, my friends, and for everyone involved. So we have a story that we can share, and I'm really proud of sharing it. Hopefully it's useful for someone. And thank you, Dr. Nira and Dr. Shekhar, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those wonderful words. And your story is, it's a tough one. It's certainly a tough one, but so happy to see where you are today and everything that you have done to go past all of this. So good luck to you, and thank you for being part of this.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
If moving houses, bombs, pandemics, and age didn't stop me from achieving my marathon series, I wonder what you can achieve. Us, Jill Stapleton from Australia, who has led multinational global organizations and Australian based not for profits. Jillian has taken many risks in life, including running her first marathon at the age of 49. Since then, she has completed 12 marathons and is the holder of the World Majors Marathon Medal. Please join me in welcoming Jillian.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, and congratulations to all of the collaborators of this book. Yeah, I started running at the age of 47, and I contributed to this book to encourage other women to get active and stay active. I ran my first marathon at the age of 49 around the streets of Paris with my friend Helen. And running has had an amazing ripple effect on my life and many others around me since then. Achieving 12 marathons in the World Major Series and numerous medals, the journey has not been without its challenges. And the story in my book, my chapter, tells of the moment 700 meters from the finish line when Helen and I were running the Boston Marathon and the bomb went off. Helen and I were so close to finishing our race, but we were not injured, but we did not cross the line of the marathon that year. Much happened after that. But my goal of completing the world majors was shattered in that moment when the bomb went off. I tell the story of how this event impacted my life and stirred me into action when I returned home and I resigned from a role that was not serving me well. I tell the story of Helen and I, undeterred, we returned to Boston the following year and we did cross the line. And I went on to achieving my goals of completing the series over a number of years. The medals I received, I never won a race, but I got lots of medals, and they're a daily reminder that you can jump hurdles and even knock them over when you want to. And as Nira kindly said in the introduction, it's a reminder that, you know, if bombs, pandemics and moving house didn't deter me, then I wonder what you can achieve. And I hope that the ripple effect of reading this book will inspire you to move just a little bit more.
Thank you very much, Gillian, for that. And of course, when I was reading your story, we all hear about bombs and not being able to see your husband who was supposed to be at the finish line, and thank God he was late. I mean, I had goosebumps. So great story and really, really very inspiring. Thank you for sharing it with everyone else. Just be yourself by first knowing who you really are, who you really want to be, and where you want to go. Words of Wisdom by Amy Wong, who's joining us from Malaysia. A food technologist by profession, Amy started sharing her stories on social media in 2021. Since then, she fell in love with writing and hopes to help her readers to transform together, find their life purpose, and ultimately achieve the abundance that they want in life. Over to you, Amy.
Thank you, Nira. Thank you for the sweet introduction. Yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome, no matter where you are from. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, no matter whichever in the world you are. Grateful and thank you for you to join this session of celebrating the launching of this book. I know who you are joining here, but sorry that I could not address each one of you now. And I will say I fell in love with writing, as what Nira said just now, in 2021, be it writing in social media or on daily gratitude journal, and now writing a chapter of this book. My story is all about self-love leads to transformation and clarity in life. I was living in a skeleton for 36 years without any soul, yeah? I avoid love and care for my beloved ones. I always complain about life. I always like to please others. And people see me having super low confidence, but I need to strengthen myself up, right? By showing that I'm okay, I'm strong. But now I learned that everyone has their vulnerable phase, right? Vulnerable moment, whereby it's okay to be not okay at times. From a person who don't value my life, I have a few times of thinking of taking my life away, to now standing tall, being vulnerable, putting down my ego, and continue my journey in knowing myself better and better. My question is, so can you, right? I really believe everyone can find the authentic self in them. By how? By loving themselves so much. You won't want yourself to beat up yourself. You will learn how you can spread light around you by using a smile and the care that you have from the bottom of your heart. But the question is, how did I break through? How did I get out from the deep valley and transform slowly to who I am now? Just get a copy of this book and you will know the answer. I would like to end this with a quote Be brave enough to help yourself, for yourself, and no one else before you already help yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amy. And I again loved reading your story, and I just found it so difficult to see how you struggled with confidence and how, the different direction that you went because you didn't want people to know that you were not confident in your own skin, and how you really turned around. And like you said, if people want to know how to do it and how they can do it, to grab a copy of the book, which is available on Amazon. But thank you so much for sharing your story, Amy. It was lovely reading your chapter. Our next author is a marvelous mother whose mantra is, "We are all stronger than we think we are." Dorothy Buck from Philippines is a passionate mental health, gifted, and special needs advocate who took time off work when she became a mother to focus on raising her children. The love for reading, though, was instilled in her at a very young age by her parents. Writing, then, was a natural step. Over to you, Dorothy.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here. Thank you, Dr. Nira and Dr. Shika, for this initiative and giving us authors this amazing platform to share our stories with you. This is my first time as a published author, and I cannot express enough how grateful I am for this wonderful opportunity. I've always wanted to write a book, and when my marriage ended last year after 25 years, and I was facing struggles, challenges in motherhood, I decided I definitely had to write. Writing for me had always been a tool to process the struggles that I was going through. And in the process, I realized that actually it was an amazing way for me to go through my healing journey. So I guess we were brought up in the belief that we shouldn't share our dirty laundry in public. So as you can imagine, I had this inner struggle. Do I share or do I stay private? But I decided I'm going to share. And I was going to be vulnerable, and I was going to be as honest as possible. And by doing so, when I shared, I was so surprised to see how many people would actually reach out to me and share their stories. I was so inspired by their stories, and that made me feel like I wasn't alone. I wasn't alone. People would say to me they were inspired by my strength, by my story, which led me then to realize, I said, wow, you know what? We can actually have an impact on people, which is really amazing. So fast forward to present, when I had this opportunity to write a chapter, I jumped. There was no way I was going to miss this opportunity. I am so proud of being part of this amazing group of inspiring ladies in Shaken Stirred, but Not Deterred. And I am really convinced that one of our stories is going to touch somebody out there who needs to hear this story right now, who's going through rough times and struggling. And hopefully this will give them a bit of a push to get them back up on their feet, to give them hope, to know that they are going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. To just trust the process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. And I remember when the two of us were talking and you were telling me the story where you had to choose between two children on who to look after. And I was like, as a mother, it was so difficult for me to even comprehend, the dilemma. But it's so wonderful that, you put everything behind you, and, whatever you've done in life, like you said, if it can even touch one person's life, then it's job well done. So kudos to you for sharing, and I wish you the very best on your writing journey from here on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here with us today. Our next author is from Singapore, and her name is Mahal Rajan. She's also the author of a book called Repurposed: Finding the New You, which is to be released by Global Influencers later this month. Mahal is a speaker, trainer, and the founder of Meta Destiny. Through her speaking engagements and training, she brings clarity to youth and women who struggle with their sense of identity. Her signature topics are centered on identity, self care, and purpose. She believes the sky is not the limit. So, what's holding you back today? Extraordinary gifts lie within you, no matter how ordinary you think you are. Take it away, Mahal.
Thank you so much, Nira, for the wonderful introduction. And I'm so excited to meet all the amazing authors here and excited to be able to be given the opportunity to share my voice as well. So, in 2018, I was diagnosed with a critical illness, and I was actually told by my infectious disease specialist that I was not going to make it if I did not go for a open heart surgery. That really changed my perspective in life. Being a mother of 2 children, my world literally came crashing down. But I am very grateful to be alive today and healthy and whole. That episode really made me redefine my life and to repurpose it. I told myself I spent the first 40 years as an educator in the Ministry of Education, but I told myself for the next 40 years of my life, I needed to redefine my life, leave behind a legacy should I not be alive a day longer. So that kickstart my journey of becoming an author, starting my own business, totally stepping out of my comfort zone and being in the presence of you amazing authors and the audience. So I want to challenge each of you to think about what legacy are you going to leave behind? How are you going to redefine your life and make life count? So this is my story, and I am super excited for you to read our stories as well. Thank you so much, Nira and Shika, for this time.
Thank you so much, Mahal. And you're so right about leaving a legacy. And I mean, I have to be honest, I was truly inspired by your story as well. You know, given a health scare, I think the first thing that came to my mind was that I need to be better for my kids. And that was the only thing, having young kids myself. And that was the biggest motivator. And so true about, you know, we're here, like you said, you know, we're all here for a purpose and how we need to repurpose. And I do know that it did bring you out of your comfort zone. And I just want to let everybody know about this interesting story when we were working with Mahal on the book, her solo book. And we were looking at all these cover designs. And I said to her, you should have yourself on the book cover. And she goes, no, that's the last thing I want. I said, but you... and she said, no, I'm not there yet, but I do get it. But again, you know, they're all baby steps, and there's just so much that we can do to firstly help ourselves and then, of course, help others. So thank you very much for sharing your inspiring story in the book, Shaken, Stirred, but Not Deterred.
Thank you so much, Nira. Thank you.
Next up, we have a mom, a natural counselor, an energy healing specialist, empowerment mentor, Michelle Harris from Hong Kong, who has been guiding women and children to empower themselves for 25 years. Michelle has been featured in various media and publications. She's also received awards in recognition for her work. She was also the co-author of the best-selling book, My Voice, Volume 3. Michelle personally lives by her mantra. We each can transform our challenges, develop emotional mastery, and live a life of happiness. it always starts within. Please join me in welcoming Michelle Harris.
Thank you so much, Nira. It's so lovely to be here again. And I always love these book launches. They're such a inspiration for everyone to get together and share their voice. It's truly remarkable and wonderful. But dealing with trauma is never easy at any age or stage of life. And my chapter in the book focuses on how our pain, trauma, and life challenges gives us an opportunity to either crumble or retreat, or conquer and rise, and how we can turn our trauma into self-growth. When I was 15, my dad was suddenly rushed into hospital with a brain hemorrhage. And this is something you might expect to happen with an older parent, say when you're 50, but certainly not when you're 15. And I was actually at school at the time. My mum had already been sick for quite some time, so this kind of added to our already existing challenges. And it was really quite a rough time. And I dealt with my feelings by controlling my food and developed an eating disorder. And later on, I relied on alcohol as a way to kind of numb myself. I found it really, really hard to express my feelings. And so all that trauma was suppressed and eating up inside of me. On top of that, I really lacked self-esteem. I had such extreme self-hate and very low self-confidence. And I'm also an empath and a very highly sensitive person. So that kind of added to the mix. And then through various events, which I discuss in the book, including the eventual death of both my parents during my 20s, my security and stability was deeply shaken. And I basically reached rock bottom with depression and anxiety, and I felt completely lost. But my journey kind of forced me to go within and to draw upon the only thing that did feel stable and secure, which was the connection to my soul and my true self. So through my journey, I've learned that really, despite the adversity, the one thing you can control is you and how you choose to deal with your own challenges. And I basically had the courage to face myself, to deal with this pain. And it opened up my inner resilience, my inner strength, and my inner leadership, which I was lacking. It also opened up my true gifts of healing. I suddenly had healing energy pour through me one day when I was on the ferry back to my home here on Lama in Hong Kong. And now I've turned it all around and I've created a successful business where I guide and mentor others around the world on self-healing and self-discovery and self-empowerment. You know, we all have our unique soul journey, and I chose to share my story to be that message of hope and inspiration, hopefully, and to share that despite this pain and suffering, there is a way out. We can transform our trauma, and it can be an opportunity for our greatest healing and learning. And I'm so honored to be part of this collaboration again with Global Influencers, with Nira and Shika, and of course, all my amazing co-authors who are each sharing their inspiring stories. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And Michelle, look, I've known you for years and, been through your life journey as well. And it's so interesting that there are so many facets to our story that if we actually start writing about it, it's not just about one chapter or two chapters. We have so many things that are happening, and they're all different. And the lessons we learn are different, and the lessons people can learn are different from those as well. And so, thank you very much for sharing a lot of details so candidly in your chapter. It's not easy. It's not easy, but clearly you're in a much better space right now to have that courage.
Absolutely. And, and I think that by sharing it, it helps people to have the confidence and courage to actually step out and share their deeper pain, because you're a role model. You're a role model to give people almost permission to be able to do that. And a lot of the clients who come to me, they don't want to do that. They're there because they realize that now is the time. But so many people suffer in silence, and I hope that my chapter helps people realize they don't have to do that anymore.
True that.
So thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. From what I have seen and lived through, I know I will always be able to create a new balance and help others find theirs, says Patricia Arkenbach, our next author, who is from Singapore. Patricia is a leadership and transformation expert and an internationally certified coach who particularly loves supporting women in their growth journeys and providing them with a mindset to deal with challenges, as well as empowering them with courage and determination. Over to you, Patricia.
Thank you, Nira. Hi, everyone. And to start with, also, Shika and Nira, thank you very much for this opportunity. When Shika approached me for the first time, I said yes immediately, not thinking what I really committed to. I found out later, especially while writing, and oh my goodness, it was such a process, but I had to do it, and I moved on, maybe a bit in parallel with my life story. To summarize, my story is about motherhood, what it brought me, but also the sacrifices I had to make. It all started with losing my first child, just really close to due date without any explanation. And in that period, I was lost for the first time. And I remember more vividly now is that despite of all the pain, I never experienced so much pain, and being lost in the world and asking all these questions. It also really helped me to understand life a bit more and to learn from it. I have learned so much from this experience. But this was only my first child. My second pregnancy was at times very fearful because I was so afraid of losing another child. Then I got a third pregnancy, which was more or less straightforward. And then all of a sudden, I was pregnant again way too soon. I didn't know how to deal with that when I found out, because especially after losing my first child, my career went up. I think it helped me realizing what's the worst thing that can happen, because normally I was a bit afraid to jump into to opportunities. Was I good enough? Was I not good enough? But after that, I just kept on going, and I was they noticed me, and my career went up, and I felt I was really good at it. I was doing I was in the banking industry, led multiple departments, and I was super energized by that, until I had to decide to step back, because my middle child, his behavior got worse and worse. And at a certain point, I bursted out in tears at the child psychologist, because I just didn't know how to deal with it anymore. And deep down, I knew, of course, I had to make this tough choice to step down, because my family really needed me. Despite of all the ambition, I also, in my personality, I was so proud of getting there in that big international bank, and I just moved on. And so from a career perspective, I felt a sadness as well. So it was very complicated to feel sad to leaving a company I just loved. And at the same time, I knew I had to be there for my son and for the rest of my family. And ever since, it has been a struggle, but also a struggle with so many learnings. I would almost say I wouldn't miss it for the world, but maybe that's a bit exaggerating if I would put it like that. And since then, I just try to reinvent myself in multiple ways. We moved to Singapore, which didn't help my career in the first place. COVID obviously didn't help. Ending up with 3 kids, homeschooling, and my middle child, he was also very lost. But I think my main message in the story is just keep on going, keep the faith, and in the end, I'm really at a better place now, more happier place. I can embrace so many more things, not feeling the frustration as many times as maybe 2 years ago. So I'm very happy that I could write it down. And if there's only one woman, man out there get inspired or feel supported by my story, then I'm very happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for sharing that. And I remember the thing that you'd written in your chapter, that I embrace the good, the bad, the ugly,
And
and
ugly.
just about everything
Yes.
in my family. I love that. I mean, and that's who that makes us who we are. And we all have to take such difficult decisions in life, um, and keep forging ahead. So kudos to you and well done on being able to share that. And you're so right. There, not just one, but I think there will be so many people out there that can relate to your story and be inspired by that. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Nira. Thank you.
The sun will rise in your world again. Simple yet powerful words by our next author, who's joining us also from Singapore, Rashida Samsuddin Paddy, who is an enterprise technology marketing expert with a background in strategic communications and content marketing. She's passionate about causes that support female representation in the digital economy and spends her time volunteering for organizations whose missions align with this ideal. Over to you, Rashida.
Thank you, Dr. Nira, and hello, everyone. It's great to be here on this platform to meet all the amazing authors and, to the attendees who are here to also hear about our stories. Firstly, Patricia, since you went right before me, I do completely understand your emotions and your feelings about your children. I'm a mother of two myself. And we all know we love our children tremendously. We'll do anything for them in the world. But then there are choices that we have to make from time to time when, we have to think about evaluating, am I doing right by myself as well, in addition to others that I love. My story is about my mother. As I was talking about motherhood myself, and I'm sure many of us can agree that our mother plays such an important role in our lives. Now, my story takes me back 15 years ago when I was just 18. It was not very long after I had taken my A-level results in Singapore when we were in, it was a Good Friday afternoon when I got a call from my sister saying that Ibu, that's what we call her mother, had to be taken to the hospital because the clinics are closed. She threw up. We had to rush to the hospital, and she had to be admitted. After a few days, we were told that she only had 1 to 3 months to live. So imagine being at that age and having to navigate something like that. I'm the youngest of 3 children. My brother was overseas at that time. He was serving in the army, so overseas. My sister was, as a matter of fact, 8 months pregnant at that point in time. So the responsibility fell upon me at the age of 18 to, decide, to make decisions together with my father in terms of what we want to do, in terms of my mother's medical care, as well as, how we move forward. I would say particularly that was the time I hit rock bottom, just going through 3 intense months of looking after her, having palliative care, doctors and nurses, being introduced to our family. And I think it was one particular evening when I was quietly praying and I just felt really down by everything and overwhelmed by all the decisions that we had to make, from time to time. It was just one evening when I was quietly praying and then I heard myself, my own voice in my head saying, when you hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. So my story really is about loss and overcoming loss. I lost my father a couple of years ago during the pandemic. And I think one thing that I've learned in the process of writing this story is that all of us, encountering loss is such a universal experience. It's how we overcome those experiences that are important, because at some point we are going to lose a loved one. That's inevitable. And it's about how we move on from that experience and we grow from it. And for me personally, what keeps me going and do what I'm doing is knowing that I am a walking, living legacy of my mother, and that's what keeps me going. So that's my story, and I'm really looking forward to have others read about it and connect with me and share stories of how you've overcome your loss of your loved ones.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And you're so right about you being a living legacy of your mother. And I'm sure your mother wherever she is so proud of everything that you have achieved so far. And of course, being able to share, um, about the loss. And like you said, it's inevitable. And losing a parent can never be easy. And that too at a very, very young age. But to then continue to live in, for their memory and to be the best version of ourselves for them, I think that's the best way to honor the ones who have gone. So thank you very much for sharing that. If you want to change your environment, you need to change something within you and then change your focus, says Ruchi Parekh, who is the winner of the Emerging Executive Coach of the Year 2022 award. She was also featured in Asian Money Guide amongst 50 powerful women of Asia. She helps high potential professionals build emotional resilience and a positive mindset to get to the next level of their lives personally and professionally. Please join me in welcoming Ruchi.
Thank you so much, Meera and Shikha, for making me a part of this book. It's truly been an amazing journey. Like some of the authors have shared here, I have always been keen to write my own book. And I believe this was like some sort of sign and a first step towards that journey. So I'm so grateful. And it was such a beautiful experience writing this chapter. One of the reasons I decided to share my story and write this chapter was because I believe that when we share our challenges and how we overcome them or overcame them, we bring hope. We can bring hope to someone who's feeling stuck, probably in a similar situation. And our story can be that impetus, that inspiration that they're looking for to find a way forward. And I think this book is going to be the most beautiful impetus and most beautiful inspiration for all the people out there who are feeling stuck in similar situations. The stories I'm hearing, my heart is full right now, listening to all you beautiful ladies sharing your journeys. So kudos to all of you. My chapter is about learning to say no. Being a lawyer, a speaker, a coach, one would assume that saying no and standing up for myself came naturally to me, but it was not so. I was a girl very, very low in self-confidence. And my chapter speaks about that, how self-confidence is something that we can learn through life's experiences and when we face challenges. When you push those boundaries and go that extra mile, it helps you feel good about yourself and starts you on that first step of feeling self-confident. It sounds simple, but it's hard to put into practice and accomplish. However, with proper guidance and work, it can be achieved. And that's what I share in my chapter. It is my story of myself as a young girl who was low on self-confidence for most of my life, and how through my life's experiences, I learned to stand up and gain my confidence back. The story has its fair share of highs and lows, ups and downs, and even though I have miles to go, I'm grateful for the lessons learned and how it's all panned out so far. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity of being a part of this amazing book. I can't wait to hold one in my hands. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ruchi. And really, I mean, knowing you and reading your story, I literally felt like there are two different people, because nobody who knows you today would ever believe that you grew up as that little young girl who didn't have the self-confidence. So you are literally a living testimony of the fact that if you want to do something in life, and if you work hard and you get the right help and the right opportunities, you can conquer anything.
Absolutely. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ricky. You only have one you. Treasure and be thankful to yourself and the value of you. True, but often forgotten message. That is from our next author from Singapore, Valerie Chow. who is a chameleon in career pivots. And with her love to learn and grow, she has successfully reinvented herself many times. This same motivation fires Valerie's passion for D&I and the leadership journey with her I Am Remarkable training to empower others to build self-confidence. Over to you, Valerie.
Thank you very much, Nira, for the introduction. That was a very good marketing promotion. As a marketeer, one would think it would be easier to market or talk about one myself. But ironically, it's much easier to talk about others or also marketing a brand, which I'm so used to. In my journey in writing this story, it actually started a few years back in 2019 before the pandemic, when I wanted to give more voice to myself as well as do more personal branding. So I started a keynote training for 1 year and eventually become a keynote speaker myself. Then also I joined Google I'm Remarkable workshop. From a participant, actually I moved to become an I'm Remarkable trainer to build self-confidence as well as self-promotion in others, especially for women. And this flows down to this story which I wrote, where I share about my career pivoting during one of the hardest time in all times for everyone, during a pandemic, which most people have not gone through. When I wrote this story, actually, there was a lot of emotions and reflections on what I've been through and how I went through it. To be honest, it wasn't easy to write this story, and still many memories, both ups as well as down. But digging hard in my heels, I pulled through it in the toughest of time when I was down in my career. And I pulled through it with a strong determination, focus, as well as resilience. I'm actually very happy I wrote this story because at that pinnacle time in my career, when I had so much focus and motivation ever of where I wanted to go, and this was aptly captured in this book. And during that time also, I put a lot of pressure on myself, but at the same time, I was grateful of the people, the experiences that I draw that helped me through that period. So no spoiler alert, please get a book and read my story, plus the 19 others fantastic story inside. I would like to inspire you with my career pivot journey that I went through, which is also sharing my voice. And that's how my ongoing journey to build my voice further. I hope this gives rise to your own story, sharing your own voice to inspire others too. Set your intention where you want to go, and may you walk your best forward. And the final irony is, I love to do this sign when I'm taking picture. I'm very happy. And actually this sign is on the cover of this book.
Love it. Thank you, Valerie. That was interesting. And I remember when we were talking as well, and you're like, it was almost like destiny that this is what you wanted to do, and the opportunity came. And like a lot of people say that, oh, it's a coincidence, and I always say that I don't believe in coincidences. There is a reason why things happen in our life. And of course, a lot of times, if it's not something positive, like losing a job, but there's always a reason why that has happened, and whatever comes next is always bigger and better. We just have to find the right thing. And I remember one of the things from your chapter when you said, when one is pressured the hardest, that's when the survival instinct kicks in, and that's when you really learn your own true potential, isn't it?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, when you are like stuck and you're pushed all the way, I think your survival instinct kicked through, and then that's where you pull through. And I always believe a woman has very strong power to pull through no matter what.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, Valerie, in the book Shaken, Stirred, but Not Deterred. And for everybody who has joined us today, as you can see, all of the stories of our authors are so inspiring, so motivating, so heartwarming as well. So if you haven't already gotten a copy, please do go out there to grab a copy of one of these books. And the sales proceeds do go to the charity. So that which helps our future voices. So please go out there and support the women authors who are part of this, but at the same time, we can guarantee you that there will be at least one or more stories that will also change your life. So go out there and read. As they say, you win some, you lose some. I had lost enough. I knew losing more was not an option. These are the words of our next author, Pallavi Chaturvedi. She is a life insurance professional and the founding director of Bluestone Wealth Matters, a wealth management company based in India. Pallavi's vision is to extend financial planning to every household in India by making it affordable and easily accessible to an average Indian citizen. So far, she has helped more than 17,000 families on future financial security. Please join me in welcoming Pallavi.
Thank you, Nira. Thank you so much. And thank you, Shikha, for this opportunity. I remember when the first time I spoke to you, Nira, and you said you must write. I said, I'm not an author. I am a financial planner. I don't know how to write. But during the course of this journey, I realized that putting down my story out there for others to read and understand that, life will throw challenges and it will continue to throw challenges. So in the last 1 year, I lost, in a span of 90 days, I lost both my parents. I left my husband's house where I had been for 21 years. And so that's what I say when I say I had lost enough. I had lost enough. And as a result, it threw me into such a phase of depression where I didn't want to see anything and I was only mourning, where my daughter was playing my mother. And, when you approached me really is when I realized that, I had to just stop being the victim or playing this. It's happened, a lot of people lose parents. I did too. A lot of people get divorced. I didn't get a divorce. I got separated. But you know what? I still had a business to manage and my daughter was going through anxiety. She needed my help and I had to be there for her. And that is what the story talks about, how, I finally gathered myself. And today I am, fast forward to today, I am actually managing 2 businesses and my daughter is doing quite well. She scored very well in her exams. So I was quite happy because it was her 10th boards and she scored quite well. Both my businesses are doing well. And I think it was some journey and I'm glad I wrote this because I'm sure when you read, you will realize the amount I had lost and how, I did realize that if I need to reach out for help, I will reach out for help. So I couldn't do this alone. I reached out to a business coach who helped me do this. So there is always the silver lining, which is my daughter that kind of pulled me out of this. And that's what I say that, God may throw challenges at you, but then he also leaves a hope there, which you just need to identify and hold on to it. So thank you so much, Nira, and thank you so much, Shikha, for giving me this opportunity to write about this.
Thank you very much, Pallavi, for sharing that. And I remember when we were speaking and when you were narrating everything, and I was like, oh my God, how can everything happen at the same time? Like, I think that period that you had, and I remember when you were talking about, with your daughter and you were watching a movie and how she quoted that and you just laughed and you're like, oh my God, I am like that girl in the movie, and that just completely changed your perspective. And of course, we go through a lot, and especially for for us mothers, we have to continue to move ahead and forge ahead, especially for our children. Um, and that's probably what just makes us very strong. So, kudos to you for everything that you're doing. Plus, not just looking after your own family, because look, everybody looks after their own, animals do that too, but then to take on and look after other families and other people, and looking after the benefit of the humanity, that's something that you've taken on. So good luck to you with everything that you're doing, and thank you for being part of this book.
Thank you so much, Neera. Thank you.
Next up, we have Anita Dadlani, who recently moved from Hong Kong to India. She's an entrepreneur and a recognized professional in the PR and events industry. With over 25 years of experience, Anita is passionate about working with businesses and entrepreneurs to help them design their brand story. Her agenda is to build communities based on the foundation of happiness, positivity, and collaboration. Her motto in life is everything you do, every experience, every person you meet, and every place you go will help you grow. Let's hear more from Anita.
Thank you so much, Neera, for that lovely introduction. I was very delighted to be a part of this book, Shaken, Stirred, and Not Deterred. When I heard the title and when I heard about this opportunity, I felt that this is where I need to tell my story. In my chapter, I share actually a very personal story, an experience that really, broke me down and my life turned into pieces. And how I picked up those pieces. I mean, I didn't know where to go. And I talk about the things that came my way and how, when you look at the pieces, you have to decide which ones you need and which ones you don't need. Because there comes a time where, you see so much and sometimes it just becomes clutter. And you have to sit and you have to choose and you have to decide what to do. I can tell you that it takes time, and one needs to be given the time and the space to find oneself again. And for that, I'm always grateful to the people I meet, to my family, to my friends, and to my surroundings that have made that possible. And as you said very rightly in your introduction, I always believe that every person I've met, every experience that I've had, every part of my life journey has only made me richer and richer. I always take it and then I try and bring the most positive aspect to what is around me. It's all about perception. You can look at something and say a glass is half full, or half empty, or the glass is full. And I've always tried to look at life where everything is abundant. And by using that mindset, I've been able to actually pick up the pieces and start over. In my chapter, I would like everyone to hopefully take something away that gives them some inspiration. I have to say, I'm very, very happy to be surrounded by such lovely inspiration stories. Each and every one of the authors who has shared today has really touched something inside me. And I'm so happy that I've had this opportunity to get to know you all. I wish everyone a lot of success. Thank you very much again. And please buy your copies and read our stories. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anita. And I remember reading in your story, and of course, look, it's definitely been a very, very tough journey. It's so nice to see that you're smiling here and you're sharing it to help other people. But I love when you said that we need to take love, faith, and gratitude through our life journey to be able to experience that magnificence that life has to offer. Those are such beautiful words. And again, it takes a lot to come up with that, but I'm so happy to see how you've moved on, and so many wonderful things are happening for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Neera. And thank you, Shika. And thank you, everyone.
Don't let anything or anyone stop you from achieving your dreams. This is a lesson our next author, Nirna Singh from India, learned late in life. But Since then, she has been transforming people into leading happy, peaceful, and joyous lives. Her vision in life is to contribute to women's empowerment, education of girls, helping the less fortunate, saving nature, and betterment of humanity. Please join me in welcoming Nirmala.
Thank you, Neera. Hi, I'm Nirna Singh, and a very good afternoon, as in India. And good afternoon to all the amazing, inspiring co-authors. It's lovely to be here and sharing our stories full of courage, grit, and hope. I'm a homemaker living in Jaipur, India. Being married at an early age, as you know, in anywhere, any part of the world, the woman has to put her choices, wishes, and her career behind her. The family always comes first. So I always wanted to become a professional, but destiny had another things on mind. I was put down by many people for not holding a degree or pursuing a career of my own. But it didn't deter me from learning, reading, and updating myself. The legacy of being resilient, strong, and never say die attitude during my childhood me so well. So after fulfilling my duties as a mother, wife, and a grandmother, I took the lead of pursuing the passion of my life is writing. So at the age of 60, I started my journey of writing, and I can say to anyone, anywhere in the world, that age is just a number. It doesn't stop you from learning, writing, or pursuing whatever passion or desires you have in your life. There's always a flame burning inside you, which you would love to do something creative or passionate in your life. So after fulfilling my duties, I got this beautiful opportunity of writing this chapter. I'll always be grateful to Neera, Shika, and Global Publishing House. And we can just, life is a journey, and how we travel is up to us. You could go with the tide or follow your passion. I am not what I have done. I am what I overcame. So I hope this story will change or inspire any woman around the world, or for that matter, any girl who wants to do something in her life. So I think age is just a number, and we shouldn't stop ourselves from doing the things we love to do. So I hope everyone who listens or sees this will go and get a copy and be inspired from all the 19 other authors besides myself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pamela. And I love what you had said in the book. When you become aligned to the universe starts working for you. And that's exactly, what you've done in life as well. And everybody's loving the fact what you said, that age is just a number, and there's a lot of support coming through for you on the chat. So well done on that and beginning this amazing journey. And I know, knowing you, there is no stopping you. So this is just the beginning for you. I know that, Nirmala. So thank you. Next up, we have Genva Hubble from UAE, who is a well-rounded global HR talent leader with over 15 years of experience. She is a passionate and strong advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and equal representation of genders across organizations. As a leadership coach, a strategic thinker, and a futurist, her belief is that the journey of transformation starts with you taking one leap of faith. Let's hear more from Genwa.
Hi, Nira. Thank you so much. Listening to you was like, am I all this? To start with. So, first of all, I would like to say marhaba or hello in English to everyone. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Genva Hubble, and I'm delighted to be celebrating this event with my co-authors here today. And congratulations to all these stories and the courage that you all showcased in this book, and you will do thereafter. In my chapter, I share a journey of a young spoiled lady who hit rock bottom and then got smashed by life. However, she learns through her life events to take professional advantage of the surrounding to rebuild herself. And ladies and gents, this woman is me. For the very first time, I decided to open up and reveal how I refuse to surrender to the undesirable life events that I have personally faced and witnessed and experienced, and share how I paved my way through the rumbles of this life by turning the problems into opportunities. In my chapter, you will see a lot of the adoption of the concept, there is power in me, and assurance that there is no place for self-doubt. This chapter that I have for you is all about self-belief and trust in your own judgment. And therefore, I personally invite you to trust in your mind, your heart, and your gut, and you shall thrive. I do understand that there's a lot of people who are currently probably struggling or facing a rough path. And I want you to know and to tell yourself that this shall pass and you shall thrive again. This is a message not only for you, but also for myself again and for my inner self to remind me of where I was and where I am and where I want to be also in the future. And if there's anything that I have learned in this journey and in this experience and throughout my four decades in life, I could say that there are two things that I should trust. First, the universe, and of course, the capability that lies in me. I just want to say thank you for my family and friends, for Dr. Nira and Shika, and my life coach, who have actually digged this and discovered this in me. And with the help of everybody that I've mentioned, I was able to write this chapter as a rising author. And thank you everyone for this opportunity and for making the impossible possible. And with that, I would just like to say, make sure that you have this book or add this book to your wonderful library and try to go through all these tremendous stories written by the wonderful authors here today, because there's a lesson for every one of us in here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Genva. And I loved this little phrase that you had in the book where you said, where you are today is the sum of all the things that caught your attention and you acted upon in your past. What beautiful, beautiful words. And thank you so much for sharing your story. And it's just so interesting that, you know, when people see us today, they don't realize everything that we had to go through to be where we are today. And it is very hard, and it takes a lot of courage to be able to share those tough times with people. So thank you very much for that, Genva.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next up, we have Umaima Mohammed, who's also joining us from United Arab Emirates. Umaima was a banker for 25 years until the start of the pandemic. It was then that she decided to share her life experiences, passion for sports and outdoors, along with her desire to help other women follow their path to complete fullness. And that's how her business, Ikigai Lifestyle, came into being. Setting that aside, more recently, she learned a very valuable lesson. Do not take your life and your relationships for granted. Stay healthy and hug your loved ones every day. And I'll let Amima talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Nira and Shika. How are you girls? How is everyone? Well, I'm normally very talkative and I talk a lot, but now I'm a bit confused and shy, I believe. So I will just try to read a little bit of what I have read in my chapter. In fact, my life can be split into two major chapters. One is before 40 and the other is after 40. And certainly I've written this chapter after 40, of course. Now, this fraction of my life is to inspire ordinary people and human like me. Those who are hesitant sometimes, those who are feeling confused many times, those who are feeling they don't understand themselves even at the age of 40. To those, I wrote this chapter. I wrote this chapter as well for single mothers, hard workers, and for those who are holding two businesses like me, and for those who are holding also many jobs, wondering how they're going to pay their bills and how to help themselves and their kids to move on and keep going in this life. This chapter is for those of us who thinks that they are not talented enough to inspire a single soul out there. This chapter is for me and for my daughters, Zaina and Zayan, and for all girls and women, especially Arab women, who need a light at the end of their tunnel. And I was lucky enough to find a light at the end of my tunnel, at the end of the tunnel, 6 years back when I asked and I sought help, and I found my mentor and Hala Kazim, and she's still, of course, my mentor, and my running coach, Mr. Lee Harris. Those two people have helped me endlessly in my life, and I'm very thankful to them. Whenever you need help, just ask for it. Whenever you need a hug, just ask for it. Whenever you need love, you will find it from those who are very close to you. And just ask, don't be shy, and you will be amazed how people can help you in finding your own self. Thank you so much, and congratulations for all these amazing women for their inspiring stories. And I really can't wait to hold the book in my hands and read and rereading it as well. Congratulations to all, and hugs, heartly hugs to all of you.
Thank you very much, Amima, for that. And I think, you know, when you talk about your life chapter before 40 and after 40, well, recently something else happened in your life where, you know, which made you literally in the middle of writing the chapter, and then you're like, okay, I need to include this because you almost had a very severe panic attack and you were in the hospital and do not know whether you're going to wake up the next day or not. That's a very, very tough call, and it's so interesting that how the story changes through the writing as well because of the life that was happening along with you. But kudos to you for everything that you've achieved, and being able to be so strong to say that, okay, you know what, I need to stop this. I'm not going to be this person. I'm not going to live my life like that. I need to be a better version of myself, and then to help other women realize that as well. So kudos to you for everything, Amima. And on that note, you will find the best version of yourself and go live your best life ever. And this is a wish from Elaine Rodrigo to all of us, just as she has lived hers. Our next author, Elaine, is currently doing her dream job at Reckitt as the Chief Insights and Analytics Officer in UK. Her 20 years of experience with various MNCs across continents has equipped her with the agility to pivot and transform organizations, even in an ever changing and ambiguous corporate environment. Please join me in welcoming Elaine.
Thank you for the introduction, Nira. So really happy to be here. Thank you for all these stories. I've almost cried like 5 times already. So let me just hold it together now for my section. The reason I wrote this story is, as women, we all wear so many hats, don't you think? As wife, mother, employee, manager, daughter, sister, friend, there's so many hats. And I just feel like we're just juggling things every day. And honestly, sometimes just trying to stay afloat, but yet we're so hard on ourselves. We're like often our worst critic, right? And our biggest judge. And therefore, I just want to my story, women to understand that it doesn't have to be that hard, and we don't have to be that hard on ourselves. So over the course of my, I would say, last 20 years of being having a career and also being a wife and mother, actually, I've had many women ask me, how do you have it all? How do you have it all? But another point kind of really struck a note with me, which is when people say, you make it look so easy. Because I realized then, so firstly, it wasn't easy. And secondly, actually, maybe because it looks easy, it's putting more pressure, undue pressure on other women to also do it like that. So, that's really why I wanted to write this story, to reassure women that actually it's okay not to be perfect all the time. It's okay. And it's okay because it's hard. It's hard, but the rewards are great, right? And so you might be shaken, you might be stirred, but never give up. And keep going. Don't be too hard on yourself. And as the other thing as well that I learned along the way, I think there's been heard a lot from the other authors about kind of pre-40s, after 40s, and, enjoy the journey because it goes really fast. So some of the key points, I guess, in my chapter, without giving too much away, because we do want people to write directly by the book, is, I guess, firstly, don't feel like you have to do everything yourself. Honestly, I don't know. Sometimes we feel like we have to be this hero. So there's no need to be a hero. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Yeah. And, I'm very fortunate in terms of the village that I have, my village of support, a village that I've also consciously built. In my book, I talk about how the chief of the village is my mom, who's actually been on this call the whole time. And can I say listening intently based on the pictures that my brother's been sending me? Not the same for my nephew, Justin, I can see you. But, but basically I've got some of my village as well on this call, being supportive and thank you for everything. But so firstly, there is that. Don't forget to ask for support. And you know what? I'm unapologetic as well about the support that I require to do what I do. And a lot of it is about domestic support. And I remember in the early years, I was somewhere on a business trip, I think, with my baby, who, by the way, is also on this call, I think now. She's now 18. And I was in Australia, and somebody said to me, Elaine, the last person who brought a nanny to Australia was Prince William. Just saying. And I'm like, whatever, it's okay. But the thing is, I'm here and this is how I do it, right? So this is the other thing. There will be also, sometimes well-meaning advice, but, process it, keep going, and always believe in yourself, right? So that's my first thing. The second thing is, and somebody else brought it up. I love Namala's story about how, about your passion. And I say, actually, to all the women who are getting married now, I said, don't forget your dreams that you had before you became a wife and mother, because that kind of just takes over. I don't know about you all, but in my 30s, it was just about managing all of that and just trying to stay afloat. Like my 30s just passed in a haze, right? But don't forget it. Don't forget, as you go through all this, what were your dreams and ambitions and your passions, whether it's writing a book or achieving something in your career or being a dancer, and remember that. And even though you may take pivots along the way, and even if you might have to change your course or maybe take a pause, as some of us had to, like Patricia, don't forget it and remember it, and also hold the people around you accountable to support you when it's your time, whether it's your partner, your children, your family, your boss, your company, in order to achieve it, because your time has to come at some point. And when it is, I encourage you to go for it. So, that was really the stories about. I must say, I was pretty nervous, to be honest. I'm pretty nervous about this book launching because I'm not an author. I write PowerPoint every day, but I don't write chapters. So I've been trying to tell people, because people all got really excited about this book. I'm like, I'm not Jane Austen, okay? But I promise the story is real. The journey continues. My story was about this journey and how actually I've landed in a place that maybe I didn't kind of plan for, but the thing, it's been amazing. And now I embark on the next step of my journey. So I turned 50 next month. So there was the 30s, there was the 40s, and now there'll be the 50s. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be different. There's going to be lots of changes. But as I said in the book, and Nira, you introduced it, somehow along this journey, I found the best version of myself. And I think all of us should just go out there and live our best lives ever. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Elaine. And there's so much chat happening as well, and there's so much support coming for everything that you said. I think as women, we've all been through every single point. Like, literally, I put the view on gallery, and I could see everybody nodding away, but like, yeah, that's us. So it's so true. Like, we go through life and we forget who we are. And ultimately, there will be a day that we are going to regret it. And we're going to hate everybody else around us because we will hold them responsible for things that we haven't done. So it is better that we take control of our own life and do what we want to do. Of course, we're still going to be mothers, we're still going to be daughters, sisters, everything else, colleague, but we have to be us first and love ourselves and continue to live our dreams. So thank you very much for sharing that powerful message and being so candid about things that happened within your journey to be able to come to that conclusion eventually. Thank you, Elaine. Up next, we have Nancy Hughes, who is an executive coach based in Greece with over 25 years of experience in leading and developing leadership, including coaching, facilitation, creating executive education programs. She's also Reiki trained, and she looks at the world holistically, seeing that we're all connected as energetic beings and impact each other with our thoughts and actions. Nancy believes we are all here for a reason, and I encourage all of you to look deep inside yourself and ask what this mission might be. Nancy, tell us more about this. Nancy, can you unmute yourself?
There we go. I have to say, I have to start all over again. Thank you, Nira. Thank you, Nira. Thank you, Shika. It's such a pleasure to be here and to listen to everybody and your stories. And I can't wait to read through everything for everyone. And it's interesting because when I received the email from Shika originally, I almost missed the email completely. And I'm sure, I don't know if others had that same experience, but there was just something that it caught my eye, Shika. So thank you for that. There was something in the way she wrote her email about what this project was about that just spoke, to me and to my heart. And I don't typically like to write books. I've thought about it in the past, but I'm much more of a listener as a coach, and with my clients, I'm more silent than talking. And yet having a voice has been something I've worked towards most of my life, as I hear a lot of you have also spoken about. So it's been a great journey, even this writing experience, for the chapter and being part of it and touching into some of my own vulnerabilities, which I shared in my story of my life and my childhood, and how I saw different aspects lead to where I see my mission in life, which is not only as a coach, as a mother, as a wife, but also as a role in humanity and raising consciousness for everybody, which I feel we're all doing. And I really hope that for everybody who reads this book, they look into themselves for their own story, because I think we all have a story and we all have different hardships, and no one's pain or trauma is hierarchically greater than another. They're all real and authentic to who we are, and who we're meant to be, and why we're here on this earth, which I think we make a choice to be, and we make a choice to make different aspects of our lives mean something. So thank you for everyone for helping me look at that story and remembering, because I also believe that we are also remembering in this lifetime why we're here and what we're meant to do. So I hope everybody who reads this book also goes into that journey of remembering, why we're here. So thank you, everybody. And I wish this book the greatest success. And I'm so honored to be connected to all of you, because I think another part of our lives is about connection. And we are all intrinsically connected, whether we like it or not, and we're connected to the earth, and we're connected to everybody and animals, and every chance that we have to remember that, I think, is powerful. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Nancy, for sharing that. And it's so true when you talk about looking deep inside ourselves and asking us, what is our mission? Like, why am I here? I think that's such a tough question to answer, but so important. And you're right, we are all connected to each other. And I think my first message on the group chat that we have for authors was that all of you are literally bound together by this book, and the energy that we've all created together has been phenomenal. So thank you very much for sharing your story in Shaken, Stirred, but Not Deterred. Never give up. Have your dreams and keep at them. If all seems too big, take one step at a time, but keep walking. These are the words of Radhika Oni, who is a managing director with Accenture in Singapore, with over 20 years of experience working with clients driving large-scale transformations. Sadly, Radhika couldn't make it tonight, but she has a message for all of you. Life is all about experiences and moments of joy. So never say no to an adventure or to try out new things. Next up is Lakshmi Murlidharan. She is also another author from Singapore who was unable to join us today. Lakshmi is a passionate, energetic, top-performing sales and consulting leader with over 18 years of experience in recruitment, process outsourcing, and talent acquisition solutions. Lakshmi is a strong advocate for diversity and inclusion, and she leads DEI initiatives through her current organization. These are her words. What seemed like a challenging and tough experience got me where I am today. It certainly wasn't a joyride, but the journey was unforgettable. And now I live my purpose. Over to you, Shikha.
Neera, you can't escape so easily. Some of us would know that Neera has also written a chapter in this book, and she doesn't need an introduction, but I would talk about a little bit about the topic that she has written about. So it's very close to both of us, our heart, and it's about how we pivoted when pandemic struck, and what a game-changing moment for us we have together created since then. Neera, I would love you to elaborate a little bit on that.
All right. Well, thanks for throwing this curveball at me. So I think we all know that whilst pandemic created this havoc around the world, it also allowed humanity to slow down, step back, and think about what we want from life, and which is something that a lot of our authors spoke about today as well. Now, one of the things it has done is it taught us this important lesson of being able to pivot and seek alternatives, clearly because we didn't have a choice, right? And so I think my message for everyone who is going to get this book and is going to read all of our chapters is that, life is going to continue to throw at us, challenges and opportunities. But it is only when we take action do we turn those challenges into inspiration and make a difference, not just in our own lives, but also the lives of others. So I guess don't wait for things to happen to you. Rather, make things happen for you, which is exactly what you and I did, Shikha.
That's true. So thank you, Nira, for those words of wisdom we both live by. With that, we come to an end of this program. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you have enjoyed listening to us and all our authors of Shaken, Stirred, but Not Deterred, and inspiring stories of determination, commitment, and resilience by Global Influences Publishing House. Examples set by these women will serve an inspiration, encouragement, and proof that anything is possible when you take actions. As mentioned earlier, the book is already available on Amazon. I would be sharing the link below. Hold on, I can just share it now. And please go out there, grab a copy for yourself, and be inspired, empowered, motivated, and to celebrate the exceptional accomplishment and achievements of our authors. In doing so, you will be supporting the future voices of this world, as sales proceeds from the book are being donated to Singapore Children's Society. We have already shared their links before, and do go out, do click on the link, go and donate. You can do a direct donation, or you can buy a book, which will help you to make a contribution towards this amazing cause. On a popular demand, we are back with our 6th volume of #MyVoice book. For those who are keen to write your own story, we have 5 spots remaining for our upcoming book. The book will be released in the month of January next year. So if you would like to write your own book, do get in touch with us. We can definitely help you to achieve your dreams. So get in touch with us. I can share both our contact details. You can call us, email us, and also I'm going to be sharing a YouTube link where you can see our previous events as well, which will help you to know what we've been doing till now. So until next time we meet, take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.